gonna go into the archive too. Hugo
Weisskopf.
Weisskopf.
Yeah.
Hugo Weisskopf.
Does that name ring a bell, Weisskopf?
No.
There's another Weisskopf, Deborah Weisskopf, who I'm sure his daughter, but
He was a
Yeah. It's an unusual name.
music professor at Queen's
Yeah.
College, and he happened to be a friend of Evie's,
Uh-huh.
and he set those two poems to music, and nobody's been able to play that piano. It's so
Impossible.
difficult.
yeah,
I bet we could find somebody who could play it.
well, it's probably in the serial music.
Shirley
You know,
Verrett.
Yeah.
the very avant-garde 20th century stuff that
Mhm.
nobody's gonna.
Shirley Verrett was supposed
Yeah,
to sing
he
it,
even had,
but she backed out.
yes, she
It was
backed
too
out
hard?
from singing it. It must have been
Wow.
too difficult to sing.
Wow.
You know, there was some, in that serial stream,
Mhm.
it's really not music tuned to the human capacity.
It's not a niggin.
Not a-
Right, it's something else. Wow.
I mean, it really expresses her anger.
Uh-huh.
That music probably does it, finishes it, yeah.
Um,
Did she work? No.
did she work? And then what was your dad's attitude towards her poems? And he loved them. Did he read them? Did he read her poems while she was writing them?
Oh, he
Or
must have. He
She
was
would show
literate.
him.
He was
show
very
She would-
literate in Yiddish. Your
Uh-huh.
father must have been very literate in Yiddish.
Yeah. My
And-
father read all the Yiddish newspapers,
Uh-huh.
from extreme left to extreme right. He would take 6 or 7 different papers. The Freie Arbeiterstimmung, the, you know.
Der Tag.
Yeah.
Huh?
Der Tag.
Now,
Der Tag.
Der Tag.
The Tug, of course, is just
Yeah.
a
Well, it's the New York
everyday
Yeah.
conservative paper. Of course he read the Tug and the Vorwärts and the Freiheit, but he read papers that were way out.
Uh-huh.
He read the Humor Weekly, the Golf.
Oh. Yeah, right. Der Kibitzer, and then there's also, oh my God, Der Goise Kundes.
And he read all the time. I mean, he read every single one of those papers that were available, and there used to be a lot of Yiddish papers, not just the Vorwärts and
Uh-huh.
the Tug. And,
Yeah.
right.
Did-
So,
Did he write too?
No.
No? And, oh, but your mother wrote a biography of him after
where
he
did that
died.
come from?
She wrote it.
Where did that fact?
Where did that fact come from?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's in the encyclopedia, the Lexikon
but-
von der Neue Jiddische Literatur. You don't know where the biography is? You've never seen it?
Never heard of it until I saw it in the encyclopedia.
Oh, so maybe it's false information? Or maybe
I
it's
wonder
been
what
lost.
the source of it could be. That there
I
is-
got that from the Lexikon von der Neue Jiddische Literatur, which was, you know, the 1950s and 60s and early 70s, I think the last volume, sort of biographical dictionary of Yiddish writers.
You
so-
know anything about it? No.
No, I don't know.
I never heard any of your sisters talk about it either.
Wow.
She may have done so. If she did, I would like to see
She may
it.
have talked a bit that
I'd like
she
to
was
see it
thinking
because
of it.
maybe, although I doubt it, it would have his pseudonym in Russia.
Oh, cool.
He was a Bundist of some ranking and appears in the histories, but I never found out what his name was.
Oh, because he had an alias.
Of
Yeah.
course, like Stalin and Molotov and,
Wow.
and all of them had aliases.
All right, so this is a task for me to go try to find the manuscript. You don't think it's sitting in Yivo somewhere? No?
Oh, well, you could start there, but oh, I'd be amazed.
Maybe Google has it.
Google.
Oh yeah. Oh, I have some stories about things I found of mine on Google. I had to pay $100 for a copy of my own book
Oh, no.
that I autographed to my Yiddish teacher, to Malka Chafetz Tuzman. This book buyer had come into her son's, you know, she died a long time ago, and her son is in his 90s. He's a wonderful guy. And this book dealer, he was moving and he wanted to get rid of some of his books, and this book dealer came into his house in Berkeley and bought, went through his library and said, I want this, that, and the other, and apparently just saw this my autographed copy of my first book and took it. I mean, it was inscribed to Malka. And then a student of mine saw it on the internet and said they're selling your book for, autographed to your teacher for $100. So I wrote to the bookseller and I said, how'd you get this? I mean, I was afraid that the son had died. I thought it was, and no, so I bought it from the son. So I call up the son and the son says, oh yeah, I had to move because my landlord died and I was kicked out of my apartment. He said, and then I said, well, this guy has this book, and he said, I didn't sell him that. I would never sell him that, I mean, maybe he did and just forgot about it, which is fine, but I actually think the guy just sort of stuck it in the pile and took it. And then, so I wrote to the guy and I said, can I have this back? This is my first book. I dedicated it to my teacher. Can I, he made me pay for it. Well, I mean, I did. It was worth it. That's a stupid story to tell, but it's just, you Google things and you find out more than you want to know, in a way. Anyway, if your mother wrote a biography of your father after his death, and if I ever come across the manuscript, I will make a copy for you and I will let you know immediately.
Oh, you will let us know first.
Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful. That could be,
But let's find out if it's fascinating that that's wrong. So I gotta correct this. And you told me that her first book in 1935, she paid for it to be published.
yeah.
She paid for the publication of the first
Yeah,
book.
well, probably the
Yeah.
father did, yeah.
Yeah, or your father did. You know what? I think you've answered a lot of my questions, and I think that actually my film is much happier. Yes. Okay, it's recording again. So, this is
Next question.
my next question. Well, okay, so you told me your address in the
East New York, Brooklyn.
in Harlem, and then in Brooklyn. No, you didn't know it in Harlem, and then you told me in Brooklyn, and now I'm wondering. Let's see, and then you moved down to Bluefield from Brooklyn,
we
or
moved out of East New York in about 1925.
mm-hmm.
And you went to Borough Park?
Went to Borough.
Borough Park. Okay.
And then in 1927, the family moved out of New York City,
To Virginia.
and I continued on at Columbia.
And then they came back and moved to
And
the
they
Bronx.
came back in 1930, and then they moved
Wow.
to Fall River.
Where's
My
Fall?
father got a job
Where's Fall River?
Massachusetts.
in
Oh.
Fall River, Massachusetts.
Lizzie Borden.
Oh, took an axe, gave
Took
her
an axe
father
and
40
40
whacks, mother 40 whacks.
That's
And then
the
she gave her father 41, or was
That's
it the
right.
mother for, anyway. Yeah. Oh, so Massachusetts, and how long did they live in Massachusetts?
I think she wrote a poem about Fall River too.
Yes. Oh, how long did
Sullivan
in
County.
Massachusetts?
Well, you were already married. You told me she came down from Fall River when you just got married. 33,
Yes,
34.
well, she was still in Fall River when I got married in 33, because she came down
For
to
the
visit me.
Oh, and she came to visit you.
She came to visit me. So they must have moved out of Fall River in 34.
And then they came back. Where did they go from Fall River then?
They moved to Seagate in Brooklyn. Seagate is the very end of Brooklyn.
Right.
You know, that's really a gated community.
Yes, it is.
Really?
I was just thinking that the
It's
gate.
probably one of the earliest in America
That's fascinating.
for lower middle class.
Did you see the gates?
Did you see the Gates
Did you
exhibit?
go to see the gates?
In
for-
Central-
Oh, no, my son was here that weekend. I didn't get up here, but I read about it and saw the pictures in the Times and everything.
I figured that the gates must be publicity for Bill Gates.
No, but what is
Loved.
Seagate? Seagate,
And Seagate is also for Bill Gates.
yeah, but wasn't it a community in which you
Yes,
just couldn't walk
gated.
in off the street?
Huh?
You had to go.
Couldn't walk into Seagate that
No, you
readily.
couldn't.
No.
They had-
So you had to
That's
go
what I'm
through.
saying, I think it was the
They had,
beginning.
you had to,
Oh, that's so interesting. Too
That is-
bad I don't know anything about sociology, but
they had,
you have to be
people,
fairly comfortable to me.
personnel, you know,
Yeah.
Security.
They had security, they had
Uh-huh.
guards.
security.
Huh.
And they had, gates had to be open for cars, and you had to go through. They would call to see whether you were,
Oh,
you know, that kind of thing. It
and a
was
lot of writers in that group, weren't there?
Yes.
Intelligentsia people,
yes.
as well as prosperous business people, because they're all small private housing, essentially. Yeah.
I went. Who else lived there? What other
There was
Yiddish
some-
writers do you
I'm
remember?
thinking of the Far Rockaway crowd. See, at
Oh,
that point,
uh-huh.
she became,
They-
summertime, she became part
They
of.
had big gates, there's places with little gates that called V gates.
That's cute.
All right, she's an English major. Let's try it out.
Uh-oh. I've already failed about 10 of your tests, so try me
This is
again.
bilingual stuff.
The
Okay.
other day I come to my wife and I say,
I've got the Grub Street
I'm suffering
Blues,
from the Grub Street.
Gissing all over. Do you get
Okay.
it? No.
The Grub Street
Grub Street
Blues, yeah.
Gissing.
Gissing.
George Gissing,
Yeah, okay.
Grub
My nose is
Street.
gissing.
Okay, Gissen is to run, right?
His
Yeah.
mouth was running, he had a cold.
Yeah, okay. And Grub Street. Oh, Grub. No, that I don't get.
All right, Grub Street in starting with Samuel Johnson
Yeah.
was the place where
Oh
all
my
the
God.
journalists and hacks and
Okay. Ay, ay, ay.
toadies lived.
There was a pop,
And about almost
A
100
novel.
years later, George Gissing wrote a very good
Okay.
book about it.
About
called
Grub Street.
It's no longer called Grub Street, I found out. It's called Milton Street, but not after John, but some local
other guy.
developer.
Uh-huh. Oh, that's pretty funny.
But
Anyway.
when he walked in and said that,
That is very
and
funny.
I started to laugh and scream. He said, "Now, do you know any other couple in America that would respond that way?" I have the Grub Street Blues because I'm kissing.
Kissing. That is, it's more than bilingual. It's transatlantic.
English major in disguise.
I see that.
Yeah.
You should have my job. I like it. That's wonderful.
Oh.
Well, ich hoffe, dass dein Nose gießt nicht mehr. I hope your nose isn't still running.
No, it's okay now.
Good. Oh, that's
It's not
great though.
contagious at this point. No, we
Boy.
wouldn't have let you come in otherwise. No, he's all right now.
I read the tale angestoppt.
Es ist besser zu sein ungestoppt oder zu give
Angestoppt oder verstoppt?
verstoppt.
Oh,
Fast-
Farstadt.
Verstoppt. Ich
What
meine,
is? Well, you would know. What?
I don't know.
There is a distinction, but I'm clear in English.
Angestoppt refers to eating.
Oh,
It's stuff, it's
angestoppt,
stuff.
yeah.
Verstoppt
Is
refers to your
An
nose.
nose is verstoppt, yeah. Yeah. But don't go too far with
on to the
stoppen.
next,
Yeah.
we'll see if there's any more bilinguals.
That's great.
Funny.
Macaronics.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. So, so they lived in the gated community of Seagate
Seagate.
with other writers, and
There
you were
were some
saying,
writers there, but
or other intelligentsia, sort
Yeah.
of people in comfortable.
yeah.
Position.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You are of the group that says intelligentsia,
Uh-oh.
and I would always say
Intelligentsia. You're probably right. Maybe I'm not so intelligent.
But then it's
I'm-
a Russian word, so
It's a
it's the
Russian
way the
word.
Russians say
Uh-huh.
it that we should think about. I'll
Uh-huh.
have to find out. I'll ask Laura about it.
I would
It's a
say
Russian word?
intelligentsia,
Yes,
but,
they use it a lot. It's their version of, and it's by now
Yeah.
an international
Yeah.
word, of course.
Intelligent. Wait, what did I say? With a J? I said it with a J?
Intelligentsia.
Because well, in Yiddish it would be intelligentsia, of course.
Yeah?
Yeah.
In Yiddish it would be
With
intelligentsia.
with a hard G. Yeah.
Hard G. Well, that's
Hard G.
probably the correct
Hard
Yeah.
G.
It's probably the
But
right.
G followed by E is softened.
Right. So I don't know which language I'm talking right
but,
now.
What can we do? Yeah, you
What can one do, right?
So I'm back in Seagate though. You were also saying, Ruth, that
They-
she's part of the summer
Far
fa-
Rockaway,
They have that
Bohemia. There was a
Seagate.
little enclave that Manga, when you were visited her in Far Rockaway, did you say you met Manga there? Or whom did you meet?
No, I don't believe I met Manga, but I do remember Zishalanda.
Mm-hmm. She has a couple poems.
And,
Yeah.
What's his name? The thin one.
Mani
Manulay.
Leib,
Oh,
yeah. Mani Leib.
I remember Zishalanda was a very powerful kind of guy. Everybody says Landau, but we always
Landa.
say Landa.
This is something
Oh, yes, I
I
know.
picked up at YIVO years
Uh-huh.
ago.
Jingle single flat,
A
yeah.
bilingual,
Yes, I know.
you know this,
Well, I actually,
use it for your kids probably.
I have it, yeah. And I worked on it before Jeff Chandler worked on it, so he took it away from me, but it's a wonderful translation. Yeah. And it's a great, and El Lizitzky is a great,
Oh, one
artist,
of the, one
yeah.
of the greatest,
Yeah.
yes. Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Translation by Chandler.
yeah.
Introduction by Dina.
Abramovich. Did you know her? She
No,
was really,
met her.
she was a,
Oh, we were lucky
Oh, my
to have met.
God.
Oh, wasn't she fantastic?
oh, she was great. She was the real thing. She really was, I miss her a lot.
Oh,
Yeah, no, I like that,
a beautiful face.
And a very gentle voice.
a gentle voice, but boy, she was tough as nails. And,
I don't think so. She could never have survived otherwise.
and no, she really owned the YIVO library. She was a great librarian. She had it at her fingertips, in her heart. It was intuitive, and she helped me in so many ways in various
Oh, I
projects
can imagine.
at the very
Oh.
early on. YIVO's still a great place, but the librarians are, well, they don't really know Yiddish, a lot of them. Some of them do, but I've
Not
been
so.
sort of surprised. No, it's definitely not the same, but I mean, some of them really are librarians, but they don't know Yiddish culture very much, and they're much more working for the Center for Jewish History than they are for YIVO itself. Anyway,
Yeah.
what doesn't matter. But, so,
And while they were at Seagate, that was the time my father died.
what year was that?
Let's see. Vivian had just been born.
Well, she was born in November 42. He died just before she was born or just after?
After.
No, it's either end of 42 or early 43.
43. Mm. Vivian is your
His
daughter?
second daughter.
Your second daughter. Hi. So what did your mother do? I mean, had your dad been sick for a long time, or did he get sick suddenly?
He
And
was sick for a few months. He had a lung carcinoma from smoking,
Ay,
and it took a while. And, by then, I was an appointed teacher
uh-huh.
York City
in the
Public
school system.
Really, which schools did you teach in?
I taught in a vocational high school, science to kids here in Brooklyn. I became an appointed teacher in 1937. And,
How long did you teach in the high school?
I'm trying to recall when my first wife developed cancer.
Oh,
It's 36, you told.
It
36.
must have been 36. It was
Ay,
the
ay, ay.
year after the Spanish Civil War.
The Spanish Civil War, July 16, 1936. 1936.
So it was in 37 that she developed cancer.
Oh.
And
Ay.
It's one of the key dates
Terrible.
in my life, and most of my generation's life.
The Spanish Civil War, yeah.
but it was treated successfully. And she didn't die of cancer until 1956. So,
Ay.
at 39, we had our first child.
And that was the origin, the source
Uh-huh.
of that smiling Celia Dropkin. Just the only portrait we have of her where she smiles. She is looking up at this 6-month-old first grandchild perched on the shoulder of the new grandfather, and she's smiling. Now, when you look at that French edition, you see the real Celia Dropkin. Serious.
Yes.
Solemn. You look at any of the pictures with that
With the Inzicht.
this
It's very stern and
Intense.
yeah, intense.
intense, solemn.
Business class.
This is the only smiling picture, and John,
I took it with a Brownie camera.
Oh, that's so great.
and he trimmed it for the,
Oh, you cropped it for
Cropped it.
the book.
I took off Fran.
Oh.
She never forgiven him for that.
that.
Yeah, she could have been immortalized. 6
You don't,
months old.
you don't have the negative? You could print another copy.
You got to.
Oh, that's a great story. I love it. Well,
So,
I think that's the picture that's on the website that
That's right.
that's
The
a-
smiling
the
Celia.
That's right. You're right.
That's not my mother.
No, that's not your mother. That's a moment of your mother, but
That's
not
right, that one time.
That's
Oh,
my
that's
mother
so
as
funny.
a grandmother.
The first time.
touche. That's not my mother. That's a grandmother. Wow. Well, but her poems, the poems to the children, are very tender. But they do have an edge. I mean, they're not sentimental. And there's one poem about the pink thread that she takes out a child's dress that the smocking is not yet finished, and when she's falling apart, she says, and I start to sew with the pink thread again, and then I come back to who I should be or what I ought to be, and I remember who I am. But it's like she's never going to finish the pink embroidering the child's pink dress, and
No.
So that's more the smiling Celia Dropkin with the sort of the fulfillment and the completion that's a moment, but the sort of incomplete child's dress is more the
Yeah.
person, or more the poet maybe. I don't know.
Now,
I think that's very true.
My mother had a very big emotional change when, after Henry was born. Henry was born in
21.
1921. And after he was born, she developed rheumatic fever.
Oh,
Rheumatic
And she
fever.
was sick for quite a number of months. And she became quite a different person.
Hmm.
She was somewhat lame afterwards. And you remember her walking, and she had trouble walking. And
One time I saw, I do remember that she didn't walk very nimbly at all. I mean, she, it was something, a problem in walking.
before that, she was a very light-footed, very light-hearted, gay kind of a person. I remember they went to masquerade balls. They led a bohemian life as far as their Jewish life was concerned. And this put a different cast on life.
wow. Well, rheumatic fever is a pretty
Yes,
serious.
She was out of it in the hospital, and at home. I mean, out of it in terms of
Mentally.
mentally.
Mm.
I forget what you call it. This was very definitely a change in her life.
Mm.
And it was one of her stories is really a reflection of that. There may be poems there too that reflect that. One is a story about the dancer.
Yeah, the dancer. That's, yeah. Oh, so that reflects that period of her life? Wow.
And
It's a great story. It's a sad story. So you think that story was about the loss of the loss of sort of physical
Yeah.
nimbleness, and it's interesting because I've always read that story as about a woman who's poetic. I mean, as a kind of metaphor for creativity that gets squelched by the demands of life. But I like the more literal reading.
you like what?
I like the interpretation you're giving that story through the story of her life, that it's about her loss of physical power.
I think so.
Oh, that's really interesting. So you were about 11 years old?
11, 12.
12 years old.
Yeah.
Yikes. So that must have been scary to have your mother
It was
have a baby and get sick.
It was a scary period. We had nurses' aides kind of people just to watch over her, things of that sort. And by the following summer, we went to the country to Ferndale. She was recuperating.
Ferndale is
In the
up
Catskills.
in the Catskills.
Yeah, the Borscht Belt.
She has poems about Sullivan County. Is that?
Sullivan County?
Yeah.
That's in Sullivan County.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Huh. So that's the early 20s. That's
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
after my father died,
43.
for my, they had brought my grandmother over before then. And they had brought my grandmother over in 1925 or 26. And so my grandmother was part of the household, and the kids didn't like her,
Mm.
Esther and Lillian.
Why not?
Hard for me to say.
She was already showing signs of senility from the
Oh.
stories they told me.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And they couldn't tolerate that. You know, little kids could,
You know,
what's
she
going
would-
on, what's going
She
on.
would snore from neighbors asking if they had any leftover clothes or things
Aye.
of that sort.
Sort of embarrassing
Yeah,
to the kids,
embarrassing.
yeah.
I took a great picture of my grandmother holding,
Fran was, so
Fran.
she was still living when Fran was born.
yeah, she was still living when Fran was born, and she was living for a while after that, because she was still living with my mother after my father died.
Uh-huh.
And they moved to right around here, Prosper Park, Southwest.
Uh-huh. She was in that apartment.
She was in that apartment, yeah.
Hmm. Do you know what year your grandmother was born?
What year what?
Your grandmother was born? No?
No. I know very little about her. All I know is that she was really a fairly good-looking woman.
Oh, very pretty.
And,
Yeah. The picture you showed me once.
and
And her husband died. Celia's father died when?
very early in their
Yeah.
marriage.
Right.
Well,
that's what-
according to the poem, the
That's
mother
what I-
was 22.
Yeah, that's-
We don't know how accurate that is, but certainly very young.
yeah.
And he couldn't
He
have been
died
much
of
older.
tuberculosis very early in the marriage.
Ay, ay, ay. Gnissen had tuberculosis,
Yeah. Oh.
right? Yeah. So that was a
Oh.
theme in Celia's life, I guess. If her father died of tuberculosis, and then her
Yeah.
young love had tuberculosis, right? Had tuberculosis. That's pretty powerful,
Yeah.
you know, influence of a disease and a.
Yeah.
I never thought about that. Wow.
I didn't understand what you were saying.
I'm sorry. Let me try to be clearer. It just occurred to me that if Celia's father died of tuberculosis when Celia was very young,
Oh, she's an infant.
when
yes.
okay, and then when she has her friendship or relationship with Gnissen, the Hebrew novelist, and he also had tuberculosis. I mean, something I read, I don't know how accurate it is, but something I read suggested that their friendship didn't turn into a romance because he didn't want to infect
yeah.
her. Is that?
He probably was very interested in her, but he said, listen, nothing can come. I just cannot marry you. I won't marry you, so forget about it. Forget about it.
Because he was sick, right?
He was sick.
Yeah.
In fact, that's
And he
what,
died very
that's
soon.
what the novel is about, is turning girls away from him.
Yeah, that's really the thing.
Wow. That's tragic.
Yeah.
I mean,
So he must have died somewhere between the time of John's birth and Henry, because Henry is named for him.
right. That's
Henry was born in January 21. He must have died shortly before that. Yeah.
wow. So,
Yeah, my brother Henry was named Uriel Nissen, which he bore the burden of until after high school, and then he decided enough of this.
I mean, you can't go to Abraham Lincoln High School in Brooklyn without being called urinal a few times.
A few times,
And that's
yeah.
what did it, and he became Henry.
Henry. So he changed his own name. He gave himself an American name.
Yeah.
Wow, that's actually a great story. Hmm.
He
Wow.
had to defend himself.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, what?
He'd be called Muriel.
Oy.
Or Muriel or urinal, one or the other.
Oh, that's horrible.
Kids.
Well, it's tough to be an American kid and have a name that's different than
That's changing very slowly,
slow.
but it still exists.
Well-
Certainly is not changing at all.
I don't know. Depends
Kids-
on.
Kids are cruel.
Kids are cruel no matter, yeah.
When my kids were in Israel, going to school in Rebecca was 5th grade, Jonah was 3rd grade, and they have Hebrew names, right? Rebecca, Rivka, Jonah, Yonah, but those are not fashionable Israeli Hebrew names. They're like Frummy, or sort of old-fashioned.
That's right.
They're an American's idea of what a Hebrew name should be. So Rebecca just decided that she couldn't stand being Rivka because she felt like she was this old lady. So she said, "I'm not Rivka, I'm Rebecca." and Jonah didn't want to be Yonah, he wanted to be Jonah in Hebrew. So they just insisted on having their American names because their Hebrew names weren't really Israeli. So it's not exactly the same story as your brother's
I
story.
changed my name.
Yeah.
From Yosef to
John.
Yosef to John?
My mother called me Yonichka.
Uh-huh. Which wouldn't fly in a high school, right?
Yonichka. The kids said, they asked me my name, and I said, back home. At that time I had my hair clipped off
For the summer.
completely. They said, "You're Johnny Baldy." So my name became Johnny Baldy. When I was 6 and I went to school, and the teacher asked for my name, I was afraid my mother would give me a Yonichka name. I said, Johnny. So that from that point on, I was John.
That's fabulous. Wow, these are great stories. What I can't believe is that your mother didn't write poems about this. This is so interesting. Or maybe it's a poem. That's a poem that a Jewish American writer in English would write.
Yeah.
Or you should write a poem about changing.
Well,
your
I'd
name.
have to you don't have to film this, but I was Shana Rachel at birth, named for my father's mother who had just died out in Covenant, right?
Uh-huh.
And here I am in Brooklyn. I'm Shana Rachel, and then comes the great day when I register for school, and the 2 older sisters take me to school in place of my immigrant mother. And then, what is this child's name? Ruth. I know you can forget about. Been Rachama
Uh-huh.
at Ellis.
My brother Henry was named Uriel Nissen, which he bore the burden of until after high school, and then he decided enough of this.
I mean, you can't go to Abraham Lincoln High School in Brooklyn without being called urinal a few times.
A few times,
And that's
yeah.
what did it, and he became Henry.
Henry. So he changed his own name. He gave himself an American name.
Yeah.
Wow, that's actually a great story. Hmm.
He
Wow.
had to defend himself.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, what?
He'd be called Muriel.
Oy.
Or Muriel or urinal, one or the other.
Oh, that's horrible.
Kids.
Well, it's tough to be an American kid and have a name that's different than
That's changing very slowly,
slow.
but it still exists.
Well-
Certainly is not changing at all.
I don't know. Depends
Kids-
on.
Kids are cruel.
Kids are cruel no matter, yeah.
when my kids were in Israel going to school in Rebecca was 5th grade, Jonah was 3rd grade, and they have Hebrew names, right? Rebecca, Rivka, Jonah, Yonah, but those are not fashionable Israeli Hebrew names. They're like Frummy, or sort of old-fashioned.
That's right.
They're an American's idea of what a Hebrew name should be. So Rebecca just decided that she couldn't stand being Rivka because she felt like she was this old lady. So she said, "I'm not Rivka, I'm Rebecca." and Jonah didn't want to be Yonah, he wanted to be Jonah in Hebrew. So they just insisted on having their American names because their Hebrew names weren't really Israeli. So it's not exactly the same story as your brother's story.
I changed my name.
From Yosef to Yosef to John?
My mother called me Yonichka.
Uh-huh. Which wouldn't fly in a high school, right?
Yonichka. The kids said, they asked me my name, and I said, back home, at that time I had my hair clipped off completely. They said, "You're Johnny Baldy." So my name became Johnny Baldy. When I was 6 and I went to school, and the teacher asked for my name, I was afraid my mother would give me a Yonichka name. I said, Johnny. So that from that point on, I was John.
That's fabulous. Wow, these are great stories. What I can't believe is that your mother didn't write poems about this. This is so interesting. Or maybe it's a poem. That's a poem that a Jewish American writer in English would write.
Yeah.
Or you should write a poem about changing.
Well, I have to you don't have to film this, but I was Shana Rachel at birth, named for my father's mother, who had just died out in Covenant, right?
Uh-huh.
And here I am in Brooklyn. I'm Shana Rachel, and then comes the great day when I register for school, and the 2 older sisters take me to school in place of my immigrant mother. And then, what is this child's name? Ruth. So my mother says, when she discovers that, well, what happened to Shana Rachel? She is American, Mom.
What a great story.
Rachel would have been very stigmatizing, you see?
Mm-hmm.
Shana you can forget about. Now it happens to be a very popular name. So I've been Ruth ever since.
So John named himself. Your
My
brother named yourself, and you named yourself.
My sisters, no,
oh no,
I
your
didn't name
sisters. Your sisters named you. Your
They
sisters.
were both suffering because the oldest had been Rachama.
Uh-huh.
At Ellis Island, changed it to Emma. That's where she got the idea, you see. Then the second sister was Shalamis. She did not know how to spell her name correctly until midpoint high school because
Wow.
those stupid Irish teachers didn't know how to spell Shalamis. S-C-H-U, S-C-H-O, S-C-H-A.
So
Said, this kid is going to have an American name, Ruth.
short and American.
They don't know how biblical it is.
That's
I mean,
pretty
they didn't
funny,
know, of course,
yeah.
how biblical it was.
Oh, that's a wonderful story.
So I am Ruth. I guess I've always responded to it, yeah.
But in your heart of hearts, are you Shana
only,
Rachel?
only as I became more aware of the Yiddish streams in
Uh-huh.
mine.
But I need to change my inscription to Shana Rachel. I just put
Oh,
Rachel. May I? After.
Well, as one sister said, they took one look at you, they dropped the Shana.
Oh
right
no!
away. Yeah.
But
It's a nice, it's a lovely name, Shana Rachel.
it is beautiful.
Yeah, any Shana it was a very common combination, Shana something.
Shana Madel.
Well, anyway, after my father died, and a while, my mother lived here with the youngest child, and
You're her mother?
her mother. My brother Henry was in the army while my father was still alive. And my father died while Henry was
Yeah. He was still
overseas
overseas.
Aye.
in the army.
Where was he overseas?
He
I
was
think he was in the European theater.
It was the European,
Wasn't he?
Yes, European theater. He was in England. It was
Aye.
World War II.
Well, that must have been painful also to be abroad when your father dies. Ay, ay, ay. And in the middle of a war, I mean, you probably couldn't get back.
They weren't letting them come back for that.
Yeah.
no.
Oh, how terrible. Ay.
After that, my mother lived with my sister Esther for the balance of her life.
Mm.
This was
So it was, she was with her 13 years, 43 to 56. Up in Washington Heights,
Oh, Washington Heights. Yeah.
Manhattan.
there's
There's,
a
oh yes, the
Washington Heights
picture
picture
right
right
over
there,
your
right
head.
over your head.
Okay.
Comment.
This.
Yes, that's a
The
street
bottom
scene.
Oh, cool. Wait
The
a sec.
horse.
I gotta pull back here. Oops. Oh, this is beautiful. Oh, what a beautiful painting. This is from the street,
Yeah,
from the
she's
window
looking
on Washington
down
Heights.
From her, her window where she painted from, yeah.
So she sat in the apartment and painted? Oh, this.
Yes, that's a push cart. You
Right.
see the
Yeah, yeah.
horse and the wagon.
The horse, the wagon.
That's the street of apartment buildings. That's very typical of Washington Heights.
And there's a bird flying free
Uh-huh.
in the middle of the painting, right there. Beautiful. Oh, that's great. This camera is not very good at
Yeah.
I'm not a very good photographer here, but
And next to it, there's a fantastic beach scene from Florida.
when was she in Florida?
A number of times,
She'd go to Florida.
She went there quite often in the late 30s and 40s, early 40s.
Where'd she go, Miami?
Yeah,
Oh, that's great. That is a fabulous painting. It's really hot. It's a very,
one of my favorites.
it's a
yeah.
very hot day and that,
Yeah,
oh, it's beautiful. So these are all her paintings, and then there's
Yeah, these-
flowers.
these four. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And there's,
And the ones on that wall there are also.
do you mind if I just walk around and look at, hey,
Well, that's in the book, that one. the
this one,
flowers.
The
yes.
flowers. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna stop being so, and this is also beautiful. Where is
That's
this? Is that
what-
Seagate?
Henry lived in Pennsylvania, Harrisburg area,
Oh, really?
and that's on one of her
Yeah,
visits. She
this
went,
was one of our earliest paintings. As a matter of fact, that group there,
and
see,
this also at Harrisburg.
during a snowstorm in
Uh-huh.
Harrisburg, she painted a group of
You want more
gouache.
light for that?
You have more light? Sure. Yeah, probably. I can never really tell how I'm doing. I pray that these pictures turn out. Okay, that's good.
Yeah,
Oh, these are great. These are watercolors or oils?
they're gouache.
Gouache, okay.
Yes, watercolor,
Uh-huh.
piled on.
Right.
Now, that's the one that the ACA Gallery chose
The
to
third.
exhibit. That
You
one
see
there.
Uh-huh.
the
With the
third
house.
from the top.
Yeah.
That one there, yeah. You see, these were among her earliest paintings, and I framed them and I took them down to the ACA Gallery to see if they would exhibit them.
And they took one. And what year
But
was
that
that?
snowstorm is
Yeah, I
really
love that.
something.
My husband's mother and aunts all lived in the Harrisburg area.
Mm.
Some of them still do.
Where is David from?
Chicago.
Chicago. huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Chicago.
well, she's
Oh, these are
in
great.
that 3 years, which after she started painting, she painted about 200.
200 paintings.
Yeah.
That's fabulous.
And sketches. And
Uh-huh.
So,
Do you have, are
have
they?
a
we
few,
have
but
only a
they-
few.
all
We
the
have
kids
only
are-
a few of them. They were scattered over
the family took the
Well, that's-
kids. There are lots of grandchildren.
That's,
and,
but that's good.
yeah,
Yeah. That's wonderful.
yeah.
Is this, are any of these?
This
No,
That's,
this
one
one is
is
also. Oh,
from,
that's a Florida
That's a
one,
Florida
Uh-huh.
scene there.
which is lovely. But the others are all
Our friend
friends or
and
relatives.
the nephew.
beautiful. And so these are board?
On a board.
Yeah,
and,
okay, I'm
yeah.
a million, but let me ask one or two. And I don't want to overstay my welcome. I think I'm,
Come back.
you know what, I think I'll ask another couple questions and then let me get back to work on what I'm doing and become better versed in Dropkiniana.
Yes, yes.
And come back and continue. But I'm just trying to think. No, we were talking. Let's see. What did I want to get on tape? Oh, you described Anna Margolin at lunch. You described Anna Margolin as you met her once in a. This is when I should have had the camera on, of course. In a cafe, an upstairs restaurant or cafe.
Yes.
And she had white rice powder on her face.
White rice powder was a very common.
Very, very white.
Makeup.
Very white, dark red lips. Well, I mean, brilliant red, not dark red.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah, that was a very, very contemporary style of makeup.
Look, yeah.
The white face and the red lips, yeah.
And you were a kid then, so you were
Yeah,
not
I was
yes,
a
I
young
was.
teenager.
12.
You were at college, weren't you?
No.
Before college?
No. Long before college. I think it's before I was married.
Well, you didn't get married till you graduated from college. so-
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Anyway,
Things have a way of piling up.
I know, and I'm asking a lot of questions all at once. But I'm just, were they friends? So, your mother and Anna Margolin? I mean,
think so.
and good friends, you think, or
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
you don't know?
They seem to be quite good friends. I don't believe they were as close to her as Berta Kling
Ah, Berta Kling, I know her poems. Yeah.
and
How about Mrs. Margocious? She was a close friend.
well,
wasn't she?
I've never met Mrs. Margocious, but Esther did.
Yeah.
As a friend of my mother's. But the other one who was often was I.J. Zinger's widow.
Oh, really?
I.J.
I.J. Singer, yeah, yeah.
I.J.
Singer's
Singer,
widow, yeah.
widow.
Yeah, he died in the early 40s, I think.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Oh, so, okay, that's
She was a
interesting.
little woman, and I remember her very distinctly. So must have seen her frequently.
And Zisha Landau and Mani Labe, you remember meeting,
Yes, I.
and, uh-huh.
So,
What about Glotstein? Jacob
those
Glotstein
I met in the Rockaway.
in Rockaway.
And,
Uh-huh.
But I remember I.J. Zinger's widow at our house, and Berta Kling at our house.
Okay, well, that's interesting. And Fradl Stock, you said, was also a friend?
Fradl Stock,
Fradl.
I don't personally remember. Esther.
Knew her. Huh. That's interesting. And you said that your mother had a high opinion of Kadia Molodowski,
Well,
and
I think so. The one she
Uh-huh.
really, I know she had a very high opinion of Anna Margolin.
yeah, with good reason.
Who's working on Anna Margolin?
Shirley Kumovi has
Oh, yeah?
done something. I don't know if she's ever going to publish the book, but I think she's translated her.
One of our good friends through
Uh-huh.
the years was Halpern's daughter,
Iceland.
Iceland's daughter,
Reuben Iceland's daughter.
Reuben Iceland's daughter,
Uh-huh.
who had been abandoned by her father.
Oy.
And-
Right.
And hated that woman.
The other woman who turned
The
out to
other
be
woman.
Anna Margolin. Yeah.
What was his daughter's name?
Rebecca Halpern.
Oh. Is she still alive?
No. She
Oh.
just
Died
died
recently.
recently.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But she has two daughters who are around. I don't know how
The
much they're
granddaughter,
aware
yeah.
of this.
Hmm.
It was only lately that she came to appreciate her father.
Well, how old was she when he abandoned her?
Oh, she was probably in the late teens, whenever he went off with Margolin.
Yeah,
So that was, I think she was in the late teens.
20s, late 20s, I
It's
think.
very, very painful
Wow.
episode. So you can imagine.
Yeah.
So.
I can imagine.
And he was a
Rebecca
pretty good
Iceland,
poet.
I knew her before she married. She was,
You knew her when? After,
before she was married, I knew her in when
but did you know her as Reuben Iceland's daughter?
I knew her, I didn't know her as Reuben Iceland's daughter, I knew her as Rebecca Iceland.
Oh, uh-huh.
And she was in the Unemployed Teachers Association, and Zelda was in the Unemployed Teachers Association.
Wow.
You know, there was a time when people got organized in this country. If they had any problem, they got together.
And they dealt with
organized.
it. Well, you know what? It's too bad that that's
It's gonna happen again.
lost. It's,
I'm
I mean,
afraid it'll happen again.
it's, yeah,
It'll happen.
yeah, 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 it's,
It'll happen.
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 it's,
Very high,
It'll happen.
very high,
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 it's,
very high.
It'll happen.
it's,
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 It'll happen.
it's, magic,
It'll happen.
it's,
It'll happen.
magic, it's,
It'll happen.
it's, magic,
It'll happen.
it's,
It'll happen.
magic, it's,
so happy, it's 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 so happy,
he
it's
he
so happy,
he
it's 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 so happy, 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 it's
match
so happy, it's so happy,
match
it's so happy, it's
match
so happy, it's 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 so happy, proven up, it's proven up, 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 so happy, proven up, it's so happy, 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 it's so happy,
Very high,
it's
very high,
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 so happy,
very high.
it's so happy, 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 it's so happy,
stay
it's
stay
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 so happy,
stay
it's
row yeah
so happy,
row yeah
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 it's so happy, 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 it's so happy,
Thurin
it's
Thurin
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 so happy,
Thurin
it's so happy, 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 it's so happy. 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 It's so so happy,
it's
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 so happy,
Thurin, it's Thurin,
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 so happy,
Thurin, it's
so happy,
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 Bro, yeah, it's bro, yeah,
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 so happy,
sting, it's sting,
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 so happy,
sting, it's
so happy,
it's